Here we go. Hey guys, my name is Stacey Keller. I am the founder, CEO of Ponyback Hats, if you're not familiar. I am also a mom of 3 boys. Today, we are going to be talking about habits, specifically my habits, the ones I have and the ones I don't. I was recently asked in an interview, Stacey, what are the habits that have contributed to your success as an entrepreneur so far? And I couldn't think of any. So this is kind of my redo on that question. And yeah, let's get into it. So habits. What habits do I have? When I was asked this question in my recent interview, I answered it, but I kind of went into like, what characteristics do I think in my personality that I have? So I don't really feel like I did the question justice. And then after that, I was like, I have so many other things. I'm really not giving myself enough credit. There are some habits that I do keep, but I just needed some time to actually think about them. So the 3 things that I came up with that are the habits that I feel like for me personally have gotten me to here are the following: sleep, habits of the mind, and things I consume, like things that I eat. Those are the 3 things that, out of all habits, I feel like I've been doing well. And then I have some habits that obviously I've not been so great on. But the 3 things are those that I think I have actually maintained throughout the first 2 years of this Ponyback journey. Yeah, I'm feeling a little bit warmish. I did turn the AC on, it's just still hot in here. I'm gonna put my hair up. Better. Do I look cute still? All right, let's talk about sleep. I am a mom of 3 boys. I have been through 3 baby stages, 3 infant stages of raising a little one to being toddler age. If you've just raised babies, then you know that you don't get like any sleep, like the first, for sure, 3 months, probably 6 months, maybe even a year of their existence. And for me, that time was the hardest time. Like one of the hardest times of my life was like, I was not getting any sleep, like intermittent sleep. It was awful. And I definitely realized that, you guys, I cannot exist without sleep. So I was so bad on no sleep. Like I would put lettuce in the freezer. Like my brain was completely gone. Like I would put lettuce in the freezer. I would put milk in the cupboard. Like just the things that were like automatic, your automatic moves that you would have throughout the day. Like I would mess those up in my brain, but I would have no memory that I actually did that. I just remember, yeah, my husband was like, Stacey, why is there lettuce in the freezer? Stacey, why is there milk in the cupboard? And I would literally have no memory. Like it's amazing. Like how did I actually take care of little human people during that phase? It's pretty crazy. But anyway, it was really hard to have no sleep. And so I know I cannot function. So the past 2 years of being in this business and running Ponyback, like I get 7 to 8 hours of sleep every single night. Maybe not every single, okay, I'm lying. Okay, so there's about like 0.5% of the time where I have to get my taxes done, or I need to do an inventory count, or like something with a deadline has to happen and you have no other choice and I need to stay up late. Besides those few times where I have not done that, it's like every other night though, I am getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep. I have to, or I won't have the ability to think and problem solve, because we know, she's gonna start doing stuff like putting lettuce in the freezer. So I have to have sleep. And I have a consistent-ish bedtime, but not like super strict. So I do go to bed between like 9:45 and 11, like every night. And that is my number 1 habit, sleep. But I'm still feeling hot. Okay, so habit number 2. This one's gonna sound cheesy. Habit number 2 is like, I'm gonna call it habits of the mind. So this is my favorite drink. I just need to be like, I don't know if you're into like carbonated water that's flavored. I am in a really big way. I have tried about like 10 different brands and this is my favorite. This is, no one is paying me to say this, sadly. Maybe Nestle. Nestle, if you're watching, hi. No, they are really good. They're one of the more expensive ones as well, but when they're on sale, it's not so bad. Anyways, I have been trying very hard to like pay attention to the thoughts that I'm thinking and like separate myself from that thought. Because there are a lot of times when you're starting a business that you are constantly doubting yourself, not sure if you can do it, like you're just like, why am I doing this? And so it's really helpful for me if I can take like a step above where I actually am and be like, Stacey, but what are you thinking right now? Like, why are you thinking this? This is not helpful for you to be thinking these negative thoughts. And when I actually make the realization that I'm thinking these negative thoughts, I'm actually able to put myself into a better position to think about, you know, like how far I've come and how grateful I am to have this opportunity to do this thing, as opposed to being so consumed by the imposter syndrome or the negative thing that's going on or the massive problem or the unhappy customer. It usually isn't instant. So you guys, I'm not like super great at like, here's a hard thing, it's okay. It like takes me some time. Like some cases, depending on the situation, like 24 hours, but 48 hours, I don't know, but I'm getting better at it. And I know that that is a habit of mind, right? Like you have a thought, it makes you feel a way, and to take yourself out of that and look at it from like 40 feet above, maybe not 40, okay, I'm like 40 feet above. You know what I mean? I'm just like, take a look at it from a different perspective outside of yourself. You usually will get to a different place where you're like questioning that thought. But remembering the context, I mean, okay, Gary Vee, you guys, I'm a huge Gary Vee fan if you don't already know this, but Gary Vee is like, listen, you already won the lottery, you are alive on this planet. Like that is incredible. Like even just things like that, like listen, the health of my family, like everyone woke up today and everyone is happy and healthy, and that is amazing. Just to have that perspective of like this problem that you're faced with in the grand scheme of life is likely insignificant. So perspective has really, really helped me. Gratitude has really, really helped me on the days that I am like the hardest days. If I can get myself to have a place of gratitude for where I am at, all of a sudden it does not feel as hard anymore. I'm in the middle of doing something that's super challenging and I get to do this thing. I have the choice. I have the ability to start a business, to be trying to make it successful. Be grateful for this opportunity that I have, and be grateful for small things around me has really been super, super helpful. I guess the third habit of mine is that I try to remember that I am running my own race. And I had to write this out. I had to put this up on a sign one day because I was getting too consumed by watching other small businesses on TikTok crush it. Listen, I'm sure some of you are gonna be like, but Stacey, you're crushing it, you're doing amazing. And lots of people tell me that I am doing a good job. But I inevitably am like, but they seem to be doing a better job. And I end up putting myself in the same boat as these people. And that's not fair to do. So I have to remember that I am running my own race and it is my race. And the only thing I can compare myself to is myself from last week. So I consistently remember that I am running my own race. I wrote down on this piece of paper, it was like, are your employees happy? Are you making money? Like, are you able to pay your bills? Yes, fabulous. Like, life is good. So I had to remind myself when I would be feeling down about like, oh, I'm not making enough progress, or I'm comparing myself to others. That was super helpful in like, no, go back to the basics. Can you pay your bills? Are your people happy? And fabulous. Like that's all that matters at the end of the day. So I tried to remind myself of that as well. I guess I technically have a fourth habit of mine that I just thought of. You guys, I'm such a podcast nerd. I'm a podcast nerd. I don't read because I feel like reading takes too much time, but listening to a podcast is something I can do in the car. Listening to a podcast is something I can do when I'm doing dishes or folding laundry or anything else. So anytime where I have the ability to multitask something, I'm going to be listening to a podcast. that is also helpful because it surrounds you with another voice. Anyway, whatever I need to feel, if it's like motivation or a laugh or just like zone out and think about something like completely off the rails, like it doesn't matter. I can find that in a podcast. And so that has been really helpful to hear other people's perspectives, other people's challenges through businesses and different podcasts that I listen to, get some motivation. And of course, Gary Vee is one of the podcasts I listen to on a daily basis. So getting the straight hard facts from Gary Vee is kind of like the kick in the butt that I need sometimes. So those are my 4 habits of mind. My last habit that I practice is regarding what I eat on a regular basis. I have come to realize a lot about my body over the past, I want to say 6 years. So once I was done having children, I don't know, something about turning 30 or my metabolism slowing down, but I started having some of these like health things happening. And I just recognized that if I ate too much sugar and I ate too much processed wheat products, bread, muffins, bagels, it's really sad. But when I ate too much of those things, like I just would feel lethargic and terrible. And so I have really cut out a lot of processed sugar. I've cut out, like, I don't know when the last time is that I've had a bagel or a muffin. Okay, so I did have some cupcakes recently. I have a thing for chocolate cupcakes with icing on it, and my sister-in-law, we just had a birthday. We celebrated a birthday, and she makes the most amazing chocolate cupcakes, so I had to have one of those. But like, with the exception of kind of indulging in them occasionally, which I feel like my body can handle, I will. But I've come to know that I can't eat certain things. They make me feel so tired and just so terrible. Okay, so my mother-in-law is like an amazing cook. So generally I will like really indulge when my mother-in-law is making us food, but I will never forget, we were there for lunch one day and it was pretty heavily focused around, you know, all the things, wheat and bread and sugar and desserts. And I was like, whatever, I'm just gonna, it's, you know, cheat day, if you want to call it cheat day against my habits, I don't know. I ate all the things and I had such a crash. That whole afternoon, that whole evening, I was just so tired, so lethargic. I had no energy, like all the brain fog. I'm like, it's not a diet. Like, it's just literally recognizing that certain foods make me feel a certain kind of way. And if I want to feel good and healthy and vibrant on a day-to-day basis and have all the energy from my kids and to show up and to create this YouTube video, like I can't eat those things. And so, yeah, that has really helped and I think has really maintained some of my energy throughout the last year. But you guys, having said that, like I am not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. So before Ponyback and before I was kind of like overwhelmed, it's very overwhelming. It's very chaotic these past 2 years of running Ponyback. Before that, you guys, I had been to a point where I did have working out regularly as a habit. Like I'd be working out 4 to 5 times per week. I was getting in some good exercise. I was meditating. I was waking up early in the morning. I know what it feels like to have some of those habits in play. But once, you know, COVID hit, once Ponyback just got so chaotic, it was so hard to maintain some of those things because other priorities just started to creep in and took over my life. And so I guess another thing that I'm doing is I am not guilting myself about this. I'm not. I'm being realistic in that this is really the infancy of my business and it is very demanding. And I am so drained after an entire day. Like I'm tired in the morning and like I just need that extra half an hour of sleep, whatever it is. I am really just trying to be graceful with myself and listening to my body to know that like this is a very stressful and overwhelming time, you know. Try to manage it all. And so in terms of working out, like if I work out once a week has kind of been my new regular. And ideally, I do know that I feel good when I am working out more regularly than that. I do know that I can think better and more clearly, and I'm less stressed when I am meditating regularly. I know that. And so I do have visions and goals of getting back to those things, but I also am trying to be very realistic in the now, in that I have way more work than what it can handle. And I have children. And so I've really gone to the work of like prioritizing what it is and what I need for myself right now. And that happens to be sleep, the right food, habits of mind. And those three things are the only three habits that can really live in a consistent way in this season. That's not to say that like during the off season, like September rolls around or October or January, like I then don't really have an excuse because Ponyback's not quite as busy during those months. And so those are the times where I need to focus on building in it to become more of a habit and routine. But again, I'm being realistic. I'm not beating myself up about it. That's me. And you guys, I think what I come to learn is that your health and your habits, you have to cultivate what it is that you need and want and are willing to do in your life, into your life. And you have to stop being guilty about it. Because again, that goes back to the habit of mind. There is no point in wasting energy on like, oh, I didn't work out today, now I feel terrible about myself. No, like you didn't work out today because you couldn't, or you didn't, or yeah, maybe I was being lazy, but like, I'll do it tomorrow, or I won't do it because I'm gonna reevaluate where I am in my life. And finally, I just want to encourage you to figure out what are your habits that you want to have in your life. My advice to you is to choose wisely and to do something that's realistic and that feels right and to work towards something that you want. Ultimately, you shouldn't be doing habits because someone else is doing them and they told you this is what you should do. You should do habits because you want to feel a certain way and you know this thing helps you to feel a certain way. And that's it. And if you break it down to that level, I mean, then I think that's the most important thing. So decide how you want to feel. And then decide what habits are going to help you get to that feeling and decide what habits can I actually integrate into my day-to-day at this current moment in this current season that makes sense. I am super curious to know what habits are you focusing on right now? Which are your priorities? Drop them in the comments below. I would love to know. And just going to plant this little seed of we in the past, Ponyback has run an accountability group for habit forming. And so we're planning to kick one off again in September. I've just been really busy and I really need to send an email to get this going. But anyways, we're planning on being back with it in September. We call it the PB Squad, and it's all around just having a group that you can be accountable with to help you reach some goals in terms of 1 or 2 habits that you want to build, nothing more. And again, it is completely based upon what you want and your goal and your objective, not what someone else is saying or dictating to you. So look for that coming soon. It'll be definitely posted on our Instagram channel and TikTok if you don't already follow us there. So anyways, thank you so much for watching today. If you like this video, please like and subscribe to see more. I will be continuing to share the Ponyback journey here and just a little bit more about my life with you, and I would love for you to join me. So thank you very much. See you next time.